It has never been promulgated that classical period music is built on archetypes. And in fact, when you say that, one is not sure what that term means. But I think with a few demonstrations, it's possible to intuit it. There are archetypes that are harmonic. There are archetypes that are melodic. Archetype number 1 is also melodic. I will bet you that there are 400 examples for this archetype, and it may be the most popular and profound of all the archetypes that, let's say, occupy the classical period. So the first thing where you say is, well, what does that mean? So, okay, anybody know this piece? Beethoven, Opus 109, exactly those notes. Beethoven, Opus 76, last movement, exactly that harmony and an embellished version of those notes. Mozart, Sonata for 2 pianos, last movement, second theme. Chopin, Etude in G flat. That archetype attracted so many composers, and of those who are listening to this, if you have some more, send them in and I will publish them and give you credit. So this is the first important archetype. Another archetype for this period goes into the Baroque too, are the series of descending fifths. So it will be starting, let's say, in C. And then ending up someplace. Another archetype are ways of breaking up motions in seconds, either up or down. Of course, initiated with Palestrina and his school, or there's a theme made out of it that Haydn might have used. Again, a theme made out of descending. Those are all 7/6 suspensions. Another one is this series of, and it can be with that's again motion that is broken up, all steps. Another one is harmonization by chromatic, or and that you see here in Wagner and Chopin all the time. Another typical cadential archetype, or archetypes that end up in the 1/6/4, 5, and then starting archetypes for a composition in classical period, very commonly used, and I can add to it. And the addition comes from simply taking cadential formulas and turning them into themes. So another one would be this one. So if you span that out, another one typical of the classical period. You see how easy it was to compose in this period, that you just had all of these things falling out of your fingers. They were all part of about 16 to 20 archetypes that were part of the composer's palette. And so he could improvise it easily. I'm improvising these pieces. And they were limited so that you could always recognize a composer by his archetypes. So you would say, oh, Mozart wrote that. See, like if you hear this, I'm making this. Every one of those is an archetype from classical period. And it's possible to understand how one wrote so quickly during this time by just understanding the whole system of archetypes. Here's another one. So, from the Jupiter Symphony, and always has to have a cadence at the end. So, 5, 6, 4, 5, 1. That's right. So that's the theory of archetypes, that every period has them. Bach has them, and you can identify his style through them, and Mozart and Beethoven, of course, and Brahms has them also. And this whole thing of underlying archetypes, and the parentheses is that they are the most magnificent parts of the piece. So what did composers do? They gleaned them, put them in their little bag of composing, and then use them for all future compositions. That's what everybody did. And that is what is lacking in the 20th century. That's where we've lost, where there are not archetypes except in the early works of Stravinsky and the late works of Bartók.